Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. Going to make our way up through the castle. So we were in this room the previous episode. We came to this pool of acid and we didn't progress any further. We went down to meet Dark Diver Grando and get to the bonfire below there. So walk slowly up these stairs because noise triggers the statues to spit acid at you, which degrades your gear, like rings, weapons, armour. And you want to take these royal swordsman crossbow guys out before you go into the pool of lava acid, and just take all your gear off, rings, swords, weapons, armour. Elizabeth mushroom, that's the best item that's in this pond of acid. The other item is in a treasure chest at the back here, and it's corrosive urns, only useful in my opinion if you're PvPing, and even then I don't really know how often it's used in the community to ruin people's gear and get the advantage using that method. Okay, so once you've finished that, this is the only way you can progress through after going into the room that we were just in. And you come up to this room with faces on the wall, and these masks spit poison at you, so you might want to put poison moss in your bar. Don't think about going for that item straight away. Well, you can if you want. It's a really useful item. It's an upgrade item. It's Titanite chunk and Soul of a Brave Warrior, I believe. So it's something you want to pick up at some point or other. There must be a way to do it without getting poisoned. It probably involves rolling, I'd imagine. But you don't want to get poisoned and then make your way up to the room that I'm about to go into. And the problem with standing there for too long is that one of the crossbow wielding royal swordsmen from further on in the level can snipe you, and like he did a second ago to me. So I kind of get caught out here. This was my first time coming through this area, so I wasn't sure what to expect exactly. And I was actually hoping to lure the royal guard into this room in the hope that he would be poisoned himself, but the mass don't trigger for him, only for us, which is a bit disappointing. I find that the mace actually works very well against these royal guards. Maybe better than some of the swords that I've been using, like the Claymore and the Mastodon Greatsword and whatnot. Just because you use less stamina with the mace, and it seems to be a bit quicker, especially that combo where you've got two swings. The back swing especially does a lot of damage. And I should have probably retreated at this point. Oh yeah, they have this attack where they can so yeah, my fault, partly. Well, my fault altogether. Should have backed away, gone for the safety of the stairs where I've just came from, and taken them out later once I'd healed up. But yeah, they have that move where lightning comes out of their sword, or whatever it is. And you can usually avoid it quite easily. You can actually roll through it. That's what I was trying to do, but it didn't work on that occasion. And you only need to take on 2 of these royal guards at once. The third one won't aggro unless you get very close to him. And I was getting that, stupidly I get too close to him there, and he came out and decided to have a wee bite at me. But yeah, these guys aren't too difficult. Don't go near the painting. See the painting behind the royal guard? It can actually curse you, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, the mace definitely I think works better against these royal guards than some of the other weapons that I've used. And they have the chance to drop their armour the science set, and their weapons as well, and I think green blossoms. So Sir Sion was widely known as the kingdom's most loyal knight, and when the giants invaded he volunteered to lead the advance party but was slaughtered most dishonourably. The king commissioned replicas of Sion's accoutrements and bestowed them to promising knights, but not long after they donned the armour did they go thoroughly mad. So it sounds as if Sion's armour was possessed or something. The brutish and mighty primal knights wield this sword like a fairy-like twig. Terrible experiments, this is the important part, terrible experiments were said to have taken place in a hidden manor in Drangleic. The mastermind presiding over the deed was known as Lord Aldea, and Aldea and this manor become very important, and the experiments are important to the story and lore as we go on. And the connection, in the previous episode I mentioned mirrors, and if you look at the floor as well in certain parts of Drangleic Castle, not this part, it resembles what we see in the manor later on. So that painting is used to foreshadow events that occur later on at the end of the game. And that painting is obviously, I mean, most people will deduce that that's the Queen. So that's Nishandra, the Queen of Drangleic, Vendrick's wife. And yeah, like I say, it foreshadows events that occur later on. This nameless usurper, does she look familiar? She is somebody that we've already met. Maybe it's not easy to see because of the red. Maybe that's a better view of her there. I don't know if I should say until later on who she is, just in case. Don't want to spoil it for people. I'll talk about it later on. Anyway, back here there's a ladder. I actually found it by chance, and it's worth coming down this ladder because there's a bonfire down here, a hidden bonfire. It's round here. And this was the asshole, I think, that was sniping at us. Oh no, it wasn't actually, it was the one above. There's an item round the corner, so we'll go and pick that up, and there's an item below us as well. We'll do the bonfire first. So yeah, it's definitely worth lighting this bonfire because there's a mini boss fight coming up soon. And you don't want to have to go through that room with the mass again. It's not that the royal guards aren't annoying, it's just the room with the mass that's annoying. Otherwise that bonfire wouldn't be necessary. But there's a good item in here. This is a hunter's black bow, and this bow, it has speed that's commensurate with the short bow. So the drawback speed is very similar to the short bow. It doesn't take long to flight an arrow, and also it doesn't use up much stamina. It has one of the highest ranges of all the bows. It has 65 units of range, which is like very high. They're old knights. Those two statues, they're old knights. The ones that we see at Hades Tower of Flame.
You have fought admirably on your journey, cursed undead. I am Nishandra, Queen of Drangleic. A true monarch carries the weight of their souls. The last king of this land, King Vendrick, as he was called. He found the strength to rule his people, and when the undead were born, cursed, he found more strength to face them. But in the end, he never took the true throne. Visit Vendrick.
So she is...
We have no need for two rulers.
Visit Vendrick, we have no need for two rulers, i.e. take him out. She's suggesting that we go and take him out. I'll talk more about Nishandra, I think, in the next episode. Just now we're going to take on this mini-boss. To be honest, it's a very easy fight. We've already fought this type of boss before, and it was easy the first time around. All I would suggest is using a green blossom and take a ranged weapon into the fight, or throwing knives, like poison throwing knives or just normal throwing knives, or things that you can throw. You take on dual Dragonriders in this boss fight, and one of them stands away up there and tries to snipe you, while the other one uses his halberd. To be honest, it's not a terribly difficult fight. Just be wary of the Dragon Rider with the halberd and circle straight the room. Circle, 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 and just either use your bow and arrow or throw knives at the other Dragon Rider. Or just melee both of them. Or if you're a spellcaster type build, this fight is extremely straightforward. I came through this with the Faith build that I had completed the game with last week, and this fight was trivial with a Great Lightning Spear or whatever it is, or Lightning Spear. Nishandra, yeah. What should I say about her? Oh yeah, the Hunter's Blackbow. The other thing I wanted to say is it's got a S scaling with dexterity, but apparently that doesn't confer much additional bonus damage to the weapon. So apparently the best way to use the Hunter's Blackbow is to actually infuse it with poison and use poison arrows. And apparently it works absolute wonders with that combination. Nishandra, what I'd written was, yeah, it seems like Nishandra's suggesting that you confront Vendrick. So we know he's present in the game at this point, and that we'll meet him later on. Again, we've got characters pushing us in different directions depending on their agendas, just like Kath and Frampt, the Primordial Serpents from Dark Souls 1. I've written here, Nishandra's marriage to Vendrick, probable sham. She had malignant agenda from the start, but needed Vendrick and his men to cross the sea and acquire something from the giants. In fact, she's probably responsible for the fall of Drangleic. She spread the curse deliberately, perhaps. So that's what I've written. So yeah, Benhart of Hugo, with his favourite sword. And he gives us a bit of background about where he came from and why he's here. He's here to prove himself, basically, and to prove that he's capable of wielding this legendary sword that he carries around with him. And that's a typical Scottish male character trait, this idea that I see it all the time, and not all men in Scotland, I wouldn't stereotype them like that, but a lot of men have this idea they've got to prove themselves, that, you know, if they show weakness they're not real men. And anyway, this episode's nearly finished. In the next episode we're going to finish up with the boss in Drangleic Castle, and hope this episode helped. Thanks for watching.